It's not plugged in right now.
Oh.
We're live. I have to do it again. Try it tomorrow. Hey guys, Steve Moran with Douglas Yates, and we are here to talk about the world of Bitcoin, digital currencies, and all kinds of fun things, especially turning. We're going to have to change that from transforming communities into economies.
Yeah.
That's going to be the tagline that we are going to be running with here for a while. It's going to be a lot of fun, huh, Doug?
Yeah. Before we get into how that our use case that's turned into a real thriving and growing in business in the Kinscoin wheels, but the Bitcoin right now, it's if you're in it, you're probably you're probably biting your nails a little bit, like what is going on, because all the news is positive, and we got these lower spikes, these testing of the bottom, seeing where the bottom is, and if like we were talking about last few weeks, there's this V going on with supply, where a bunch of supply and it's going down to where no supply, and we're right there. We're right at that point at the bottom right now. It's their projection was the September 11th through September 14th, which today's the 13th. So we're right there. And last night it tested the bottom again and could not break through. Popped right back up. As soon as it hits like 44 or 45, it just comes right back up. And I think it's around 45, 46 right now as we're talking. But so hang on. Is all I got to say. I'm going to show you guys tomorrow. I've been studying the 2013 chart of the growth of Bitcoin, the price of Bitcoin in US dollars, and comparing it to the 2021 chart. I'm not the only one doing this, but a lot of people are doing it, and it's almost fallen it to a T with about a 3-4 day lag. So if you want to know what's going to happen in the future of the price of Bitcoin, go look at September of 2013, in the middle of September, and you're going to see these little bottom tests and then a huge pop up. And I'm going to actually grab the charts tomorrow, Steve, and we'll show them and let you visualize what I'm talking about. But it's fascinating. It's like it's a little eerie because it's so close. It's so right on to what's happened back then. It's happening now.
Well, and traders, from the day of dawn of the computer age, right, have gone back and looked at patterns, and they've looked at these things in the past. And they seem to, there are a lot of instances where they just seem to follow each other all the time. And that's how a lot of guys make an awful lot of money, is following those trends and looking back on things. So I think this is probably the same kind of things probably happening here, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah, exactly. Same kind of things happen here. And, I don't know exactly what is unique about 2013, and I'll do a little more research between today and tomorrow and let you guys know, but that was an adoption year. It was a year where the early adoption started happening.
Early adoption.
And now we got like almost mainstream adoption right before mainstream adoption. Well, not really. You could buy Bitcoin
right now, I think they said there's 200 million people using Bitcoin now, and in 2 years it'll be 1 billion.
Yeah. And the reason why is almost every bank now you can buy Bitcoin through. Almost every online Cash App, PayPal, whatever. You can buy Bitcoin, you can buy Ethereum through it. One of the largest open source wallets, which is called MEW. In fact, Wheels Coin, you could hold it in that wallet. They announced today that through Apple Pay, the upper limit is $500. They went from like $200 a day to $500 a day, and through just your regular debit card, you could do $20,000 a day. Through the little, this little wallet. It's not a little wallet. It's one of the more mainstream wallets. But that's just happening all over the place. So that's what's causing the adoption to grow, and kind of like what was happening back in 2013. A lot of people were just discovering it, and the early adopters were kind of filing in during that year. And now we got the mainstream adopters filing in between this year and next year. So that's why this growth is going to be exponential. And if you're This all I'll say is, personally, if you're concerned about the economy in the United States, in the world, there's crazy news. There's banks in Europe just shutting down, large banks, just closing the doors and forgiving all and basically writing off all debt and closing all accounts. it's happening more and more. Hasn't happened that much in the United States, but I think it's about to come around. If you're at all concerned about that, the only place to go, you can go gold and silver, yeah, but it's, can you carry $100,000 worth of gold, in your pocket all the time? No. Can you carry $100 million worth of Bitcoin in your pocket? You can put it. It's in your head. You can go anywhere with it. So the reason I tell you all this, I just highly suggest if you haven't got in, I would suggest getting it. This is the best storage of wealth presented to us at this moment that me and a lot of people that are way smarter than me could have found.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, there's only 21 million Bitcoins. There's 21 million that'll ever be available, right? So, but right now there's about 200 million people in the world using Bitcoin, okay, that have adopted to it. But the studies say that in 2 years, it's going to be 1 billion people. Okay, so look, there's going to be 5 times as many people using the same amount of coin.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, it just comes down to math. I mean, you just really, I can't tell you exactly what that number is going to be, but I'll tell you it's going to be bigger than it is today. It's going to be substantially larger than it is today because, if you have 1 billion people sharing 21 million of something or 200 million people sharing 21 million of something, what costs more? Okay.
Yeah. The time is now. If you haven't got in, I say get it. And just remember, you don't need to have $45,000 to buy one Bitcoin. You can have $45 and buy a small percentage of Bitcoin, and it's going to grow. I mean, who cares if if your 45 turns into 300? That's awesome. You know what I mean? Yeah. That's $200 more than you had before.
Right.
So and then if you get consistent about it, you're like, every week I buy a little bit of Bitcoin, whether it's $100, $1,000, 5,000, whatever I got extra that week, I'm buying a little bit of Bitcoin. And that adds up, that consistency adds up. So, if you got kids,
okay, you're looking to try to, pay for their education and you're putting money away. Okay, guys, where are you putting that money? Take that money right now and go put it into Bitcoin. Okay. Yep. Put that money into Bitcoin and your kids will be, you will be so happy. Okay. If you do that.
Yep. And if you're like, oh, all my money's locked up in my 401k or my IRA, there's IRAs popping up all over the place that you can put into Bitcoin. It's really simple.
Just got to do your homework.
Yeah. Do your homework. There's one it's
not easy, but it's worth it.
Yes. And it's worth the hassle of the 4 or 5 days of doing the paperwork to get it done. Absolutely.
You're talking about something that's going to grow exponentially. I mean, just like I said, that's just in 2 years, guys. How many people are going to be using it in 4 years, 5 years?
Yeah.
Okay? 10 years. I mean, Michael Saylor, he's bought $177 million worth more Bitcoin at $48,000 per coin or something like that, right?
Yep.
And he says, if I got to put something in things, I'm not going to touch it for 10 years or 20 years or whatever. There's nowhere else to put it except Bitcoin. I mean, nowhere else to put it. And I mean, that's really powerful. And if you've got IRAs that you've got and you're not going to be able to touch that for a while, and you can go get some of that money and put it into Bitcoin, just do the math. Do the math, guys. Against supply and demand is what everything ultimately comes down to when it comes down to price, right, Doug?
Yep, absolutely. Just tell that story of your buddy that you played golf with at the end of last year. And he paid off a bet, but forgot he had some Bitcoin in his wallet. Tell that story again.
Well, yeah, he didn't have any. So this is a buddy of mine that I've known we played golf. We've known each other now for almost 30 years. I think like 29, 30 years. And we worked together. He used to work for me. And then we both gone and have our own different businesses and things like that. We played golf together a lot. But he's never really been, Bitcoin literate, let's put it that way. And, he knew I was doing some stuff, consulting projects out in Asia, in 2016 and stuff like that. So I would kind of always talk to him about it. But last year, it's about a year ago, we were out playing golf at my club and I beat him for a couple $100 and he was going to Venmo me the money. And I'm like, no, dude. And I said, have you bought any Bitcoin yet? And he's like, no. And I said, okay, here, look, sit down and get the Cash App right now. Download the Cash App. So I had him download the Cash App, took him a couple minutes, and I said, okay, now put some money in the Cash App from your bank, And I said, buy $5,000 worth of Bitcoin. Okay, buy $5,000 worth of Bitcoin. And so he did, and he bought it. It was $8,000 a coin or something when he bought it, right? And now look where it is. I mean, it's crazy. He lost and then sent me the $200, right? So I mean, that was the best $200 he ever lost. And now he's gotten into different things. And then last week I was after talking to you about kind of the NEXO.io, right? I was telling, hey Scott, I said, what are you doing with your stuff now? So why don't you go put it over there and, you can earn interest on it. It's insured. And it's like, oh my God, And I mean, this is a guy who's a real successful, real smart business owner and stuff like that. And he doesn't understand it. So getting educated about this stuff is really, really important.
Yeah, very important. And that's, that's why you and I started this podcast, is exactly that.
Yeah. You don't know what you don't know, guys. And that's the thing is there's a whole, and I used to work with, doctors and plastic surgeons and a whole bunch of people in this kind of business for marketing a long time. One of the biggest challenges I always had is a lot of them. I don't want to say that everybody in that class, but a lot of them, especially like your real high end, like plastic surgeons and real high end dentists and stuff, just always had to be the smartest person in the room every time they went somewhere, right? And you can't live your life like that. You're the smartest dentist. Okay? I'm not going to tell you how to be a dentist, okay? But when you go to school, you learn to be a dentist. You don't learn how to be a business person, and you certainly don't know. And a lot of I used to tell my clients, I said, "What business are you in?" They said, "I'm in the business of dentistry." I said, "No, you're not. You're in the business of marketing dentistry." Okay. And at the end of the day, you might have a guy down the street that doesn't have half the qualifications you do, and he's making 10 times as much money, living in a way bigger house, driving a lot nicer car. And you're just frustrated because at the end of the day, you can do it better than he can. But, at the end of the day, he who markets better wins. Okay. and so you never want to be the smartest guy in the room. I like going to rooms where I'm like, I'm the dumbest guy in the room. Okay. I mean, put me in a room like that for a couple of days. And I'll tell you what, I'll walk out of there with some connections and some opportunities that you won't be able to believe, because everybody knows something you don't know. And the thing is, like, you and I talk about a lot, it's not one of the traps that entrepreneurs fall into is we have to know everything. We have to learn everything to run a business, right? And to a certain extent, you need to do that because you need to know how to train somebody else to do those things.
Yeah.
Okay. But at the end of the day, an entrepreneur does not want to be somebody who has to just get up and go work his ass off for 20 hours every day and just do that. I mean, you want to build a self-managing company, that you have people that have unique abilities, and they all have, they all love what they do. They're all great at what they do. They're all passionate about what they do, and they all do things that you don't do. I mean, look at your life and, your day at work, and really think about how much time you're spending every single day doing the thing that's the most maximum value to you and your business and bringing revenue into you and your family. And I promise you that there's a whole bunch of stuff in there that you're doing that is stuff that you shouldn't be doing.
Right.
It's minutia. It's stuff you can get other people to do. And, again,
we were talking about this before, and you were about being very conscious of that. And I know in my career, people go, well, how do you make that look? You're not really doing much. You're making that look real easy. I go, yeah, the longer I work at something, and we just talked about this, the easier, the less I do, because I build. That's what I do. I know how to grease that's why you and I are together, right? And we're doing these stuff that we're doing, is we have this ability to really better ourselves and increase our productivity and increase our personal enjoyment in life. And we want to share that with others.
We have synergy. Synergy is, I have strengths and talents, and, you have different strengths and talents, and 1 + 1 with us together doesn't equal 2. Okay. It might equal 5, because we can get done. Right. We can do a lot more together than we can as individuals.
Yeah.
And that's, one of the real keys to building a real team. And I mean, this whole project's developed so much, like we were talking about earlier. So, ultimately, ultimately it's going to be just so big. It's going to be amazing. And
yeah,
understand that to do this, we're going to need a great team of people out there that want to support what we're doing and be part of what we're doing. and be able to just be part of a really good community that's going to contribute a lot of great things out there. I mean, we're going to, I'm looking for people that out there that want to help us transform communities into economies.
And participate in that and benefit from it, right?
Yeah, I mean, we are literally going to have a turnkey system for that. Okay, that's going to be, that you just plug right into, and it's going to be, it's going to be awesome for everybody. I mean, we'll really be able to go out and help empower a lot of other people to, I look at these, my little brother had muscular dystrophy, and he died. He lived to be 46 years old, but 23 years were on a ventilator. And
that's amazing.
I've watched so many of these charities because of the situation that I was in with my brother. Like muscular dystrophy, for example. I mean, it's been over 50 years now, and they still haven't solved this problem. They still haven't cured this disease. And, fundraising right now costs these organizations, these charities, cost them so much money. They bring on phone rooms and pay them 70 cents on the dollar, 75 cents on the dollar to raise a whole bunch of money. And now they've got 25 cents on the dollar, and they're top heavy. They've got overhead. They've got staff. They've got, people they've got to pay. And now all they've done is they've got a job, what we can do together, we can go in and we can help these charities and nonprofits put enough money in their accounts to have the money to go out and actually accomplish their goals and dreams and make this world a better place,
Yeah, absolutely.
And I really think that, that's the path that we're headed down. And it's a pretty exciting path.
Yeah, it is. And then, for those of you that just, maybe stumbled across this podcast and you don't know what the heck we're talking about right now. About, I don't know, it's probably about 2 months ago, we started this podcast, Steve and I, to just raise awareness to the blockchain world, the cryptocurrency world, the power of it, and then also specifically as how to help, other entrepreneurs, business people, existing business people, people who just have business ideas, actually leverage this new technology into their business, whether it's a legacy business or a new business. And we, one of the best, we kind of put our heads together like, well, let's just launch one and people can learn through the launch. And let's launch something to one that we're kind of passionate about, something they can give back. And that's how this Ken's Coin Wheels project, this what we were calling a use case, but it's now more of a entity on its own. It's grown.
Now it's going to become the backbone of a network.
Yeah, so exactly. I like that. The backbone of the network.
Right.
Where charities, the charitable world they haven't really changed how they do things for long time. It's like ask for money and overhead to collect and spend that money, and a little bit goes to the cause. And the Ken's Coin Wheels, we basically launched it to help families that have special needs. That was original concept that helps families with special needs, and it's still what the charitable part of it is,
right?
With their day-to-day activities, because it's draining. Like your mom and your parents ran out of the insurance, tapped out. How old was your brother when the insurance tapped out?
My brother went on a ventilator, and he'd been on a ventilator for 5 years. And when you're on a ventilator, you've got a tracheotomy, in your throat. You've got, you got a machine basically breathing for you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. So he needed round the clock, care. And after about 5 years, I came over one day and my mom got this letter from the insurance company that the $1 million policy, it was the $1 million max has been hit. And we will no longer be paying for any of your son Ken's medical bills. And,
so basically that money's cut off and you can't go get another insurance because of pre-existing condition.
You can't go get another insurance from it. It's pre-existing. So what are you going to do? Well, you got to figure it out. Right. And I saw my parents go through so much different stuff dealing with that. And I think that's one of the frustrations that, led me to this. I've been consulting on different blockchain projects since 2016. I've seen so many different things out there, and you look at, Dogecoin created as a joke. You look at these knockoffs, the Shiba Inu and Safe Moons and things like that are kind of knockoffs and just kind of got their own little flair on things. And look what they're worth, what they've done, and they haven't done anything. And so we thought, let's create Ken's Coin and let's take 80% of the initial proceeds from the sales of that coin and let's put them back into the community and find families out there that have special needs children and help those families. If they need their bathroom doors widened and they need showers put in, if they need a wheelchair accessible van, there are different different things require different things, and we thought it would be really great to be able to do that. And then as we kept thinking, it's like, okay, well, once we document each one of these projects, we can turn those into NFTs. And wow, if we can do that, then we can go into the charities. We can talk to charities and, think about different entities they've got buying in there. They got hundreds of millions of dollars. And I'm not kidding, hundreds of millions of dollars of stuff sitting right there. Okay. They can go back and be turned into these NFTs. And, so now we start thinking about, wow, this getting into this and actually moving towards something, makes you continue to, start thinking about it and asking yourself good questions, just like every day, hey, what can we do to make this better? How could it even be better? How can we help serve more people? How can we make this better for everybody? And it's come a long ways. It is.
And one of the cool things that it's kind of evolving as we're going through this process, and we spread the word, we get feedback, and we're like, oh, okay, well, here's the feedback is really positive over here. And this wheels token that we launched, and we basically launched it kind of like it was just a meme token. It's a token we're gonna establish value in it for what it's used for. But it's kind of growing, and it's the plan, and we're well into the plan now. Is to have it be exactly what Steve said earlier, the backbone, where it's actually going to turn into its own blockchain. And it's going to power that blockchain, and we're going to plug in thousands and thousands of private foundations and public charities into this blockchain to allow them to repurpose all the successes they had in the past and go back to their communities and turn them into economies. And then their coin is going to run their little economy, but it's going to be powered by wheels. And that is the cool. That is the exponential. It's like the IPO. It's the going public. It's the big sale. That's the big bang that's going to happen with this use case. That's turned into what it's turned into. This actual real world.
Yeah, we're going to end up having our own blockchain, our own NFT exchange. Our own crypto exchange. Our own. We're going to pretty much have. The whole the whole enchilada, I think, right, Doug?
Yeah. Basically, we're going to be known for it in the way that I'm on the technical side, and I follow very certain best practices over there, and we'll get into that as we talk about this every day. And then Steve has an awesome marketing. And not only traditional marketing, but we're looking at blockchain's a different way to do things. It has full visibility in it, right? Full accountability. It's a very unique foundation to run a company on. So we're gonna have to do that same thing in the marketing side of things. And so it's some stuff that Steve's come up with basically plugging into marketers and influencers and networks that already exist out there, that they'll get this idea once we present it to them. We just need to present it to them. And instead of throwing, for those of you that advertise on YouTube and Instagram and Facebook, you got to go through if they don't like what you're advertising, first of all, you can't. The second thing, they can pull it any old time they want. They can shadow ban your even your post. If they don't like where you're posted, they don't have to show it to your friends, and you don't know this.
Oh yeah,
and it happens. You happens every day in Facebook. So why put 100% control of your future in Facebook, who don't care about you, YouTube, who doesn't care about you, Instagram is Facebook, TikTok is China. I'm not even going to go into that whole thing, but that's. Why not put your message back in your hands and be able to have a pure message go out to the people that you want to talk to? And that's what Steve's come up with plugging us into these networks. And it's genius, and it's got legs. The legs are growing, and it's getting better and better each day.
Yes, we kind of round it out, and now we're going to fill it in with the entire blockchain thing. Okay, so we'll have everything. We'll have the smart contracts. We'll have everything. It's not going to all be tomorrow. This is all stuff as we're working on. But this is where we're moving. We're putting together the document, so we kind of got it all there, so we can make sure we know where we're at. We can see where we're going, have our short-term goals, long-term, medium, et cetera. And we're gonna, we're looking for the other people out in the community that can be, bring other pieces of the table that can help us with the things that we don't have. And we're going to build a hell of a community, and we're going to show others how to build that same kind of a community. And we're going to have a system that can plug and play. They can plug right into our system on our network. Okay. And, at the end of the day, I mean, it'll be the same running just like any of the other ones out there that are running, right? We're gonna have the right people out there, build it the right way. It's, it takes time, it takes investment, it takes the right people doing it. But we're committed.
It takes a community to turn the communities into economies. I mean, it's just kind of a self.
It's like when Ethereum, when Ethereum decided to create. For those of you that don't know, okay, Ethereum back in 2013 was just a name, and they had an idea and they had a business plan, and they went out and they raised, I think it was $7.5 million in 12 hours or something like that in crowdfunding. And then they used that money to go out and to develop the network, okay, and to build out the Ethereum network. And they sold those original Ethereums for 30 cents a piece, okay. And then after they built the network, then they came, then they went online and went the whole exchange route and told people what they were all about and went all their props, and then they get launched on the exchange. Then at like $12.50. So those 30-cent investors did really, really, really well. Okay. And then Ethereum had their network. What we're doing, this is a little bit backwards. Okay. We're coming at this, and we're not going to do a thing and then just disappear for a year while we build stuff. We've already got Ken's Coin. Okay.
It exists. There's multiple wallets out there. There's people that are exchanging it and so on. Go ahead.
Right. And we're working on our own exchange. Okay. That'll be done within probably the next 60 days. We'll have that up, and so now having the other pieces, we're going to have a crypto exchange, NFT exchange. We've got Ken's Coin. We're going to start selling that and doing some things in the community, setting up our first golf tournaments here pretty quick and getting those on the calendar.
Let me give you a little, just to interrupt a little bit, Steve. You were talking about Ethereum.
Right.
Another genius thing that Ethereum did is they provided a platform very early on for people to create their own tokens on it. And they called it an ERC20 compatible token. It just means it ran on Ethereum's network, right?
Right.
So so that's what Dogecoin and a lot of almost every, I would say 90% of the alternate coins, what they call alternate, which means it's not Bitcoin, it's not Ethereum, are ran on Ethereum's network. That's why the price is going up, and it's also, it's a good token to have in your investment portfolio. I have some too, and a lot of people that I hang out with have a lot of Ethereum, and it's jumped from 700 last summer to it's pushing 4,000. And it hit 4,000. It was 2,000 just a few, or 26 something just a few weeks ago, and it's almost back up to 4,000. And the projection is in the next few quarters it could hit 20,000. Right. And it's not me saying this. I'm just relaying information. I'm not giving you investment advice or anything. But my whole point is they created a network for other tokens to be created on, and they made it easy for those tokens to be created on, right? And so now they're like the to-go. That's where you create your own. Binance, Binance kind of copied them doing it, and so Ken's Coin actually runs on the Binance network, and the Binance coin fuels every time Ken's Coin gets transferred between one wallet and the other wallet. It has to be a little bit of Binance coin in there powering that transaction, and so that's good for Binance coin, and the Ethereum's the same way. So and so Wheels will be turned. We launched it as a token on top of Binance. Once we get the more into our plan, it'll be converted to its own blockchain, and then Wheels will power every transaction that every private foundation, public charity, when they create their own token, that it'll run and take a little bit of Wheels. And so that's what we're going with this, and the power of getting in now. If go to kinscoin.io. Steve has a very descriptive and explanation video there about what it's all about. So you go check it out at your leisure, and it tells the whole story, why we're passionate about it. Through these podcasts, I'll tell my story. I'm just as passionate about what's happening, with him and his brother, because I had the same type of situation in my family a couple times. So that'll come out as we continue these podcasts. And then if you learned anything today or something interests you or you like us, whatever, just like us, hit the like and tell other people.
Yeah, share the content and keep watching what we're doing, guys. We're going to be doing some stuff. I mean, if you follow, I think Binance is probably the biggest exchange in the world, right?
It's right. Yes.
Okay. Yeah. It's the biggest exchange. They've got their own blockchain, and their BNB coin, I believe, is the number 4 most valuable coin. Okay.
Yep. It's right around there. To the top.
What we've done is we've decided that we're kind of moving into that same segue of exactly having everything that Binance has, but wait, there's more.
Yeah.
Because we have a lot of other things to tie into. So we're not going out talking about coming up with something that hasn't. We're following what, first of all, very successful, very proven model, but because of the story and the way I grew up and where we've fallen into everything else here, I think we've got something that's very, very unique. So I think if you want to go look at Ethereum, go look at Binance, and go look at what those things are, where they're at and what they're worth. And, once you see where we're going with this whole thing, this is, hey.
And listen, both the Binance and Ethereum were technical implementations.
Right.
And marketing came later. We're not doing that. We're doing it the same thing. Perceived value is just as important. That's why Dogecoin is what it is. Perceived value. Mm-hmm. So perceived value, the only way to get perceived value is through marketing. It's integrated into what we're doing here. So that, the foundation that we're laying should be able to, our building should be able to go twice as high as their building, because we're not adding, we didn't add marketing when the building was half built. We're putting it into the foundation.
Well, we're talking about access at the highest levels, guys.
Right.
Okay, we're talking about access at the highest levels. Okay, and this is going to be a real game changer. Nobody's had the pieces and then decided to go out with marketing the way that we have. We'll explain that a little bit more as we go on, as to what we're doing. But I think we've really figured something out here that's going to make this super successful. We've been on the phone with others out there that are running some of these big giant networks of connected people. And it's gonna be a game changer. I promise you that. And you got to learn about this stuff anyways. Okay,
yeah.
You open your mind, check your egos at the door. Okay, I'm sure you guys know a lot of things that I don't know and that Doug doesn't know. But we definitely know some things here about this whole world and where it's at and where it's going. And we want to help some people. I think the whole core of this mission is, for me is, I would like my brother's 46 years of pretty much of hell. Okay. He lived 46 years, 23 years on a ventilator. Okay. I would like to, make his life count. I'd like it to be something that we can say mattered, and if we can end up with a blockchain that's got the tokens on it, and we're helping foundations and nonprofits and all these things all over the world to help them accomplish their goals by creating coins with them, then, I can see that, all the shit my mom and dad had to go through financially, emotionally, dealing with this whole situation. At least, we make it count, right? Make it count.
Yeah. And I'd like to add one thing on that too. I'd like to add one thing, when you get, I believe what we're doing is going to make a cure profitable for the nonprofits. If there's a cure for something, you're like, the nonprofit's like, well, we're done. We've reached the final point. That was their mission, by the way, but that you get a long way. There's so much money generated. You're like, I want to kind of keep this thing going. Right. But what we're doing is, I truly believe will bring cures into the situation and make the cure very profitable for everybody. If you could cure, we could have cured your brother from MD, that would be incredible. His life would completely change, be completely different, right?
Yeah, absolutely. That's why he always lived with that hope every day on a machine for 23 years. He lived with that hope that one day they were going to figure out how to fix this and he'd have a normal life. And,
so I think if we can make that profitable for the
yeah,
whole community, awesome.
Yeah, and we can help a lot. This is something I think a lot of people are really going to want to be a part of. Okay, because especially with this last piece of the puzzle we got put together, there's absolutely nothing that can stop us with what we're going to do.
No.
Okay, it literally isn't. We're going to, we have the plan, we have the people, and daily we're taking the actions that need to be taken to move us in the right direction. We're going to have the right connections. We're going to build the right team of people that we're going to be working with here that are going to, help us, fulfill our goals. And by helping others, you help yourself. That's the thing about this is you don't need to, I have never sat one day in the last 2 months of my thought about how much money I was going to make from doing this. Okay. But I can also tell you, from somebody who's I've made a lot of money in my life and I've had some really good runs. This is ghostly. It's like, it's unbelievable how much it could possibly be. And,
yeah, like I said, our building should be twice, if not twice, even taller than their building.
Yeah. Why not? Right. We're building it. So may as well put the whole thing together. And I think that's
we should close on, you live right next to they're building an apartment building right next to you, right?
Right.
You said they spent the first 6 months, you didn't see anything. It was all underground, right? Foundation.
Yeah. It's interesting. I moved in here about 2 years ago and I'm in the penthouse of this building. It's in the 16th floor. And directly across, you were here, you looked out the window, right? There was a hole about 5 stories deep, and when we got here, and for literally 5 or 6 months actually before it actually got to the ground, and people don't think about that a lot of times. It's like, especially in business, people get into business and they're like, oh, I got this idea. I want to go do this. Let's go run an ad. And it's like, let's go run an ad. Let's go do this. And it's like, come on, what's the foundation? If you're going to build a house, you're not going to just go out there tomorrow and just start doing something. You're going to have a plan. You're going to have a real, plan of what you're doing. And watching them build this it's phenomenal. You're watching them do this. And then all of a sudden you get this crane here that's like 25 stories high. And literally the little guy walks. It's right directly across from where I sit. That's why it's so bright in here with the sun on me. But I watched this little guy walk up this crane like 25 floors every day, up and down this thing, and I just thought, oh my God, it's crazy. And then you just thought, how did they get that down? That was like one of the next questions. You kind of wondered, but then they built the top of this thing, and they brought in this other mobile crane that literally disassembled the big crane. And took it apart. And, it's really interesting seeing things, but, you want to look at some of the most successful people in the world. They are, most of them are real estate developers. Okay. By nature, until you got to the cryptocurrency kind of worlds and stuff. Right. And why are they successful? Well, they're successful because they had a big idea. Okay. But that big idea came with a lot of foundational work to it, a lot of blueprinting that needed to be done. And a lot of things that needed to get done in order for them to, to make that thing happen. And a lot of times we forget about that in business. We forget about some of the little things that need to be done and all the stuff that really needs to be done, your follow-up sequences and, just all your customer engagement, your ascension programs. There's just so many different things that need to be done all the time, in a business that a lot of times you get busy with your business and then you don't do those. And
right.
That's why they don't allow you to move into a house until it's had final inspection. Until it's been blessed by everybody, because, otherwise you'd be moving into houses that weren't complete and they'd never get complete and they wouldn't be fixed right and everything be leaking and everything else. And, we're in the underground part right now. We're coming up, we're doing it.
Yeah. We're going to be breaching the ground pretty soon.
Yeah. We're going to be breaching the ground pretty soon. And we're going to have something that's going to be a whole lot bigger than the one there next to me that I'm looking at right now. Yeah. So it's gonna be fun.
Stay tuned this week. We got a great week. We'll should be here most of the week, right?
Chart for us tomorrow, right? You got a good chart for us tomorrow.
Yeah, gonna have the chart for tomorrow. It'll be a little fascinating for you.
Yeah, no, I've got. I'm gonna play golf on Thursday, but I think I'm gonna play in the afternoon. So I think we'll be here all day this week. And just as to forewarn everybody, next week I will be out. I've got the national tournament for me, the golf tournament, 72 holes, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So actually I'll be back on Friday.
But this is for the state championship, right?
National championship.
So you won your area, so now you're going to the national, and I
got 156 guys in my flight.
Wow. So you only have to
Yeah.
beat 155 of them.
Got to beat 155 of them. That's it. That's all I got to do. So we don't know if it's going to happen, but I'm going to, you know what? I'm going to go out there. I'm going to give it my best and see what
That's
happens.
right.
And if somebody beats me, I'm going to shake their hand and congratulate them.
Yeah, and say, hey, you want to turn your prize money into something awesome? Check out Ken's Coin.
Oh yeah, dude, this is going to be fun. Life's good.
All right, we'll talk to you guys again tomorrow.
Tomorrow morning.
Take care.